So this Romanian parts kit RPK is definitely one of my favorite AK platforms in the collection, but there's definitely a little bit left to be desired. The muzzle device isn't anything special, just a thread protector. The fixed clubfoot stock is definitely cool, but doesn't really fold, doesn't allow for any significant adjustments, and there's really not a phenomenal way to put an optic on this guy. So let's go ahead and modernize this bad boy with some pretty sick Midwest industry parts. Alright, now that's more like it. Let's go over the Tactical RPK. So welcome back to the Muzzle Bro channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going over my Tactical RPK setup here that I've brought into the 21st century with a bunch of awesome Midwest Industries parts. The RPK is one of my favorite AK variants, and I've had an absolute blast with this project, really doing everything I can to modernize this weapon system, bring it into the 21st century, and also have a little bit of fun. So we're going to take this guy, go tip to butt, talk about all the upgrades, and give my overall thoughts on this new platform. So starting at the muzzle of this weapon system, we are running a Midwest Industries Alpha Blast Diverter. Not only does this muzzle device look super cool, it's actually incredibly functional. Essentially, this guy is going to work like a linear compensator, pushing that gas, muzzle flash, and concussive force out the barrel of the gun and away from the shooter. So it actually does quite a bit more functionally than the standard thread protector or like an AK slant break. This does help an incredible amount on some shorter barrel weapons, but it also does a great job of mitigating that concussion, flash, and muzzle flip of something like an RPK. One of the things I really liked about this muzzle device is that it does actually use that AK front sight detent pin, so it's very easy to take on and off at the range. So if I wanted to pop this off at the range and switch it to something like my Dead Air Wolverine suppressor, it would be very easy to do that at the range without having to sit on a workbench and untorque muzzle devices, which I think is a really nice touch. Moving a little bit further back on the weapon system, we did add a Midwest Industries railed gas tube to this guy. The railed gas tube is on there incredibly solid and stable. It has an adjustable plug on the front so you can snug it up to any AKM platform, and there's two sets of snugged in set screws in both the front and the back of the railed gas tube. And between the plug and those set screws, I mean, this gas tube is on there solid, which allows us to both mount an optic and have that optic hold zero, which is great. Now, kind of contrary to popular opinion, there are a good handful of options to mounting an optic to an AK. This gun does have the side rail here that I could mount an optic on top of the dust cover with the appropriate attachments, but personally, I like the railed gas tube optic setup a little bit better. To me, it just feels a little bit more solid and stable, and I actually don't have to take the gas tube on and off to clean the weapon system, which is unlike that side mount rail, which you do have to take off to remove the dust cover and get into the internals of the gun. With the railed gas tube, you can go ahead and get to the dust cover, internals, and clean the weapon system all without risking movement to that optic. So I was really impressed with this railed gas tube. Definitely feel comfortable running any sort of optic, light, or laser on this guy. And adding an optic to an RPK is just really cool. I have tested this railed gas tube out at the range. I zeroed my optic here, removed all the internals, put everything back in, really shot the heck out of this, and my optic did hold zero, so I was very impressed. I did go ahead and switch out that Russian surplus green sling for a burn-proof gear sling that I had laying around to make the sling a little bit more tactical and applicable to a Tactical RPK build. And I did absolutely keep the carry handle on the RPK because I really do just think it fits the RPK setup and vibe overall. So moving back towards the rear of the weapon system, we probably have my favorite addition, which is going to be the Midwest Industries Alpha stock. Now, to attach this stock, I did actually use a Midwest Industries 1913 rail adapter on the RPK as well. So I really do enjoy the setup and style of this 1913 rail adapter specifically. As you can see, I did get the version which allows me to keep my tang on the weapon system, and I really appreciated that option. With the tang still on the weapon system, I didn't have to go and get a Dremel, cut off the tang, or do any significant tooling to install the 1913 rail, which I really appreciated. And also, it kind of does give me the ability to switch back to a fixed stock in the future if I want to. With a lot of the 1913 rail adapters, if you have to cut off the tang, you're kind of married to the 1913 adapter, which, not that that's a bad thing. But personally, I really like to switch up the style and stocks and pretty much everything in my guns every once in a while, so keeping that tang to me was important. And the install of this 1913 adapter really wasn't too bad. All I did was unscrew that clubfoot stock, hammer it out, shave a little bit of material off of the 1913 adapter so it would fit in the RPK, hammer her home, screw her in, and I was good to go. And the adapter has absolutely given me a nice, rock solid and stable platform to run something like the Midwest Industries Alpha stock. Which brings us to the stock itself. Truly, this was the AK stock that I didn't know I needed. I'm very used to running the traditional wood AK stock like I have on this AKM platform, and you know, it works great. I'm used to it. It gives you a solid shoulder weld, a solid cheek weld, and you can definitely use it very functionally. But there's absolutely no adjustability with this. We can't change the length of pull, we can't fold the stock, we don't have any elevation for a cheek weld, and the butt pad is obviously in a fixed position. And with the Alpha stock, we can change absolutely every single one of those variables. This stock is capable of both left and right side folding, which is great. We can change the length of pull on this guy, we can change the cheek riser, and we can change the position of the butt pad either up or down, which really just gave me an incredible amount of customization options that, to be quite frank, I just wasn't used to on an AK platform, which really, in my opinion, makes the Alpha stock kind of the star of the show. Even though this RPK is a 1970s Romanian parts kit build, between the Alpha Blast Diverter, railed gas tube, 1913 stock adapter, and the Alpha stock, I really think we were able to bring this weapon into the 21st century and really run it as a tactical setup. I had an absolute blast creating this weapon system, and I've really had a good time shooting this in this configuration. So an absolute huge shout out to Midwest Industries for hooking the channel up with some of these awesome parts. We really appreciate you guys tuning into the channel today to talk about the tactical RPK build. If you could hit the channel with the subscribe, I would really appreciate it. We have an absolutely phenomenal subscriber base here on the Muzzle Bro channel, and I would love for you to be a part of that. So after you subscribe to the Muzzle Bro channel, go ahead and hit up Midwest Industries for some tactical AK upgrades and enjoy your next build. And I'll catch you guys at the next Muzzle Bro video.